Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. How are you all doing today? MK, thank you for the 40th month. Dana, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to Robot Army. Laura, thank you for the 44th. McSherry, thank you for the 13th in a row. Amy with 44, I appreciate it. Sefre with 25. We are here tonight to watch the Veto episode of Big Brother 27, which will include nominations, veto, and replacement if there was ever going to be a packed 90-minute veto episode. I guess it wasn't going to be this one. It shouldn't have been this one. They should have spent more time on the whole Jimmy decision, but what are you going to do? Forrest, thank you for the 17th, and Miss, thank you for the 41st. Hamster Watch had an update for this week's HOH. Irie, thank you for the 44th. I did see Hamster Watch saying I need to respond to that. Knockout HOH. Is there a chance Jimmy stays against Kelly? No, not really. Welcome, Puya. Brittany, thank you for the 74th. I actually forgot to mention this on the update this morning. I plan to mention it tomorrow morning, but basically, yesterday in the morning, there P-Gate happened. Chrissy, thank you for the 28th. Somebody peed on the floor, and Kelly told Keanu that Rachel blamed him when she didn't. And then they got into a little bit of a fight. And then they both came to the conclusion that Kelly was lying. So Keanu's not pleased with Kelly. The bathroom floor, yeah. Kyle, I think of the 40th. It sounded like it was bad. It sounded like it was more than just strays. All right, let me get a prediction running. The running theory was that it was Vince because he was the last to go to the bathroom that night. Commercial by 5:14. And it started.
With this power, you can anonymously dethrone
A trio alliance. Whew. Barely made it in time. "90-minute episode today. Let's try and make it through this one without being too infuriated. Mickey, Ash, and Morgan. Shelly, thank you for the 31st. Did I hear Chappelle say Riley has my haircut? No, and he doesn't. I specifically have not gone the mullet route. I get that that's in right now. I get that people like it. But I just can't do it personally. I've literally had people tell me like, please do the mullet cut. I think it would look great on you. I just can't do it. I'm telling you guys, it's in. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if I think we're all probably pretty old here, but the youngins love the mullet cut. Now the broccoli cut is over. The mullet cut's the thing now. You work with middle schoolers, 75% of the boys have mullets. I know what I'm talking about. Janie was thinking of an 8th. I do not have a perm now. Taco, thank you for the 61st. Have I dropped my curl routine? You just saw it at the start of this podcast. I literally was like, I just separated a little bit in the middle. It's slightly better now. It's still not my favorite. Really, the first one in Big Brother history, huh? Okay. Sure. Riley, I believe, is a person who said his family were fans. When somebody says their family, like, oh, my family are they're big fans, it usually means they have no idea. They've never seen it. I'm taking this personal. This is the man who is such a sweetheart that she just has to work with him. I can't listen to this. You're talking stupid. Oh, a bunch of people knew Morgan knew. Vinny does have nice hair. You never see it because he's always wearing the beanie. It's a handsome bloke. Yeah, you might say Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt. Oh my God. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Chipping away at my exterior is an interesting thing for them to intentionally include in this episode. It's not fair. I genuinely can't believe they just made that edit. Wow, very early commercial here. Next prediction nomination ceremony. The gross thing to me about that edit is that I guarantee you production has seen the conversations Riley has had with Catherine. I guarantee you they are aware of the discourse around Riley. And the fact that they decided to show that in the way that they did tells me that they are firmly in the camp of, well, if she likes it, that makes it okay. Like if she likes him, then it's okay what he's doing, and you guys should shut up about it. And they absolutely just emboldened the voices that say that. Yeah, that was literally that they literally took from the conversation where he was mad at her for saying no to sleeping in the same bed. And that's how they decided to portray that conversation. I mean, that's wild. No, thank you for the 37th in a row. I mean, listen, I do think there are probably people out there that genuinely, unfortunately, genuinely don't really understand consent really well and really think that if Catherine likes Riley, it's okay for him to do the things he's doing. I think this is an opportunity for those people to hopefully learn that it is very much not okay. That even if somebody likes you, that doesn't mean that you get to pressure them into doing something that they're not interested in doing, to guilt trip them, to constantly to be mad at them for saying no, and to try to get them to do something they clearly, very clearly, are saying no to. There's just no level of like, oh, it's okay because, right? All right, we're back. Debbie, thank you for the 3 months in advance. Or are we gonna see the promise, the deal made? The happy birthday is wild. What are they doing? I mean, the train sound effect was one thing, but the happy birthday is just like so out of place. So that was the deal she got out of Kelly. Kelly felt really bad. Oh, is this the conversation Kelly's going to have with Riley? No. I got to say, I was not expecting an HOH room in this episode with all that they have to do. How is Riley getting this edit? How did Riley get cast? How did Cameron get his edit? How did Beast Mode Cowboy get his edit? No nomination ceremony. That's a big result for the no prediction. Um, do we see Kelly crying to Zach? So, what I'm looking for here is that Kelly was later in the day told by Mickey that she was in fact going to be nominated. After that conversation, Kelly cried. Zach came in. I will accept any version of the scene, even if Zach doesn't come in, as long as we see that scene. I'm specifying Zach. It was pre-nom. There's a chance they could put it post-noms and act like it happened after noms because it would be pretty much the same. But that's the scene I'm looking for. Prediction is up. Basically, uh, in that scene, she says, I shouldn't be here. I'm bad at this. Adrian should be here instead of me. What am I doing? So on and so forth. Watching Riley's edit after reading the book really emphasizes how important the live feeds are, right? I mean, the thing about the edit versus the show is that the edit in the US version does tend to stick to events fairly accurately. The biggest deviations have always historically been cover up for specific kinds of players doing specific kinds of things. And that is in the book. And the thing is, it's not cover up for all kinds of players for all kinds of things. It's specific kinds of players for specific kinds of things. Because they will very happily show the worst of some people while not showing the worst of others. MCMA, thank you for the 7th month, and we are back. We are heading straight into nominations. So if this is going to be a yes, it will have to be smudged. Oh, you can see Kelly's already super sad. Rachel, yes, you can. Okay, don't get mad, but doesn't Riley just a little bit sound like Johnny Mac in the DR? Just a little bit. I just felt like I listened to Johnny Mac say a couple words. Maj, I think the 30th. Farm Kid. Ah, they're trying to justify Mickey's move. Catherine's DRs do look weird. I think it's just because we've never seen her in there before. A little bit odd. Listen, I will say there's nothing wrong with her wanting this. To me, it was more the actual disdain she seemed to have for Kelly if she weren't going to do this. Like, all right, we're commercialing. That was a no, by the way. We will do a prediction of veto competition. Like, if I were in Mickey's position and I were playing with a player like Kelly and a player like Riley, yeah, I absolutely would feel it out and see if they were willing. Riley seemingly was. I think when Kelly says, I would like to use it on myself. I mean, I would hope that I didn't suggest it to the point where they realized I was suggesting it. You know, it has happened before. But if I'm in the DR or if I'm talking to other people and I'm like, I'm hoping she doesn't use it on herself because that would be great for me. And then if she did plan to use it on herself, I'd be like, damn, she was too smart. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, how dare she? Does she not see the bigger picture? Did you guys see the Adrian interview? We talked to Adrian again. We had 20 minutes with him. He reached out, like he felt like he had a lot to say. And I was like, that'd be fun. And I feel like 20 minutes was still just too tight. For what I assume he wanted. But that's what we were given. But it did produce one great moment, at least. At the end of the episode. Or sorry, at the end of the interview. But the we're back, so maybe you'll just have to go watch it. How are all of Catherine's diary rooms the same one? You know what? I should probably walk. Maybe I'll start walking next commercial. Actually, maybe I'll do it now. I'm tired right now. This episode's not been crushing so far. Oh wow, we're starting quick. I saw the fall. They said that Keanu got super lucky in this comp. According to them, he picked like 7 correct things in a row by just guessing. I doubt it. I doubt it was that much, but yeah, this is Squid Gamey. I think we talked about this last time. That I think the best strategy. Woo. For remembering is just, jeez, she keeps getting it wrong again. Yeah, that wasn't close. I think you can go faster than Keanu did. You memorize left, right. I think also like putting it into blocks. I actually don't think I would go backwards on the spots that worked because that might confuse me. Yeah, memorizing one side makes a lot of sense. Like if you conceptualize it that way, like basically just look at the left side, for instance. And you go like, it's 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11. So like Riley right now would start at 3. And then he'd be at 5. It does look like they are. I couldn't remember if they were the same. I think it does look like they are the same as well on both sides. I think they did. I can't remember if they talked about that part too. I think they talked about how they were able to copy off each other. It really shouldn't be the same. So Riley said that this was his to lose, that he lost rather than Keanu won. That he had a massive lead and he somehow gave it up. This is a yes on the prediction, by the way. I do think Keanu's going too slow. I know he won this. Whooped. Wow, he was 2 away. Yeah, he keeps getting it wrong. Dude, how? Wow. So Keanu was able to wait there and watch Riley get the wrong one. I mean, if Riley picks the other 50-50 there, Riley just wins. You definitely could just like play it to about halfway to 2/3 of the way through and then just stand there and wait as the other person gets them right or wrong. And then at some point, I would say with like 3 to 4 blocks left, start trying yourself. If you get it wrong, they didn't see because they were busy running back after they already got it wrong. And now you're 2 blocks ahead of them. Your memorization could suffer, but at the same time, you have all the time in the world to just stand there and memorize and commit it to memory, as opposed to having to constantly run back. All right, prediction. Oh, you just started Devil's Plan. Nice. I do have reaction videos for the Devil's Plan on Patreon. I'll be posting episode 6 of The Genius over there today after the stream. Also, I'm finally eligible for annual subscriptions on Patreon, which I will be turning on today if I can. So you can get a discount if you do the annual. Prediction would be The Genius was basically the precursor to the Devil's Plan. Devil's Plan is made by the same people, just like 10 years later. Yeah, what about like Ava DR? We'll give 30 seconds. Do we get an Ava DR in the next segment? Prediction is going to be a quick one. The Ava DR implies that there's an Ava fight, but it's possible you don't get Ava's DR perspective from it, even if you do get the fight. Not that it was much of a fight, I think, to begin with. Patreon Devil's Plan reactions for season 2. Could maybe do season 1 someday. I have already seen it, so it wouldn't be a top priority. I had seen Genius as well, but I've so clearly forgotten so much of it. Like, embarrassingly so. Devil's Plan is a really good strategic social strategy game from Korea on Netflix. Highly recommended if you like interesting games, strategy, and I would call it fun drama. Not messy drama. It's kind of like the high class version of a competitive reality show, I would say. All right, we're back. Oh, wow. Yeah, they were right. Do you see how many he just managed? He really did just get like 5 or 6 in a row. I believe you have a prompt. That is an Ava diary room. What I will say is that what we saw felt pretty tame to me. That actually did feel like unwarranted from Ava. However, I will say this was not on feeds. And what they were saying on feeds definitely felt like there was more from Keanu. Okay, next prediction. We have 30 minutes left for the bad move of the century. Keanu, Mickey, Morgan, Convo. You know which one I'm talking about. It's the post-veto conversation that really kickstarted the whole Jimmy thing. Do we see it in the next segment? I'm judge, jury, and executioner here. I know it when I see it. Did anybody watch Naked Gun? I heard it was actually good. We talked about it on Tastemakers. So what I will say is, if you don't have this context, in the house, everyone was on Ava's side in that interaction. They were like, good for you for sticking up for yourself. I'm really glad you said something. Even Will was telling, well, not even Will. Will was telling Keanu, like, hey, you really kind of like should be careful. Which, again, like, there's some context there. Keanu is a like big black dude, and so being warned by Will about like you should be careful doesn't necessarily mean that he was actually doing something to warrant the warning, so to speak. Did I say warrant? Warrant the warning. Yeah, okay. But there was definitely nobody in the house that's, even Keanu, that seemed to think that he was necessarily in the right there. He apologized to Ava afterward. Yeah. This is what I meant. You can see why we, I think, had an impression that this was potentially bigger and that it still might have been. Am I wrong that in the version of this that we're seeing that Ava looks really bad? Like, would they want to do that if there was more? They seemed to like Ava. I mean, listen, as evidenced by the Riley situation, we really can't trust anything that the editors are showing us. So if we unfortunately were not able to see it for ourselves,
Get a green screen so it looks like I'm walking someone. Also, how extra wild is it that part of what Mickey and Morgan were so mad about with Jimmy was that he dared to like congratulate Keanu after what we just saw? I'm currently walking at 3.5 probably kilometers per hour. Which is just over 2 miles an hour. Pretty casual. I'm in a long sleeve, so I don't want to get sweaty. Wasn't planning to walk. Still no Keanu conversation. We're going to Vinny. This is like a day later. At this point, he's already been warned that he's in danger. I hate it when players pretend like they read something that they were told. What I will say, I do like two things from that diary room, even though there was one thing I did not like. Love the passion. And I also really like that he basically admitted that it would be a good move to put him on the block. Like, yeah, she should put me on the block. It's wild to me how few people are capable of saying things like that. Especially when Dr. Will was literally on season 2 pioneering the game by doing that. No Keanu Mickey Morgan convo. But we can run it back. I mean, what I will say is that so far, what they've set up makes sense. They're doing one thing at a time. They're doing the Vince option first. Action, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. I think it's probably fine to move to the Jimmy option. You might even take Catherine off the table next and then do Jimmy last. It doesn't really show the back and forth, but that's kind of fine. The back and forth wasn't that interesting. Like, the back and forth with Lauren was essential to the entire week because her indecisiveness was a huge part of her HOH. The back and forth with Mickey, not that important, not that interesting. Robot, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. The importance of this HOH is the Keanu conversation, the delusion, and just how bad this is, how important Jimmy is for Mickey's game. And I bet we're going to see the Keanu conversation from the perspective of Keanu tricking or convincing Mickey to do Jimmy, and we'll give Keanu credit for it. Which I think is not accurate, but fine. The huge key is, like, are they going to portray this as the mistake that it is, right? I think that if you start there with Keanu kind of tricking them, that's a good place to start with it looking like a mistake. But it depends, because if you show Keanu not tricking them, but them coming to a mutual realization, like, oh, Jimmy's playing both sides, then you kind of do a disservice to everyone. Because now Keanu's not getting credit. Mickey's not looking in the way that she's acting. And there's just no real point of view anymore. You know what I mean? It's just not good TV. Yeah. All right, we're back. Are we getting, like, the whole melting pot thing already? BB Tracy, thank you 100 bits. Wait, are they saying Vince did this? I mean, that's just whole cloth fabrication. They're really doing this. That's wild. This is some Big Brother Canada nonsense. Susie, thank you for the 5th month. I mean, what Keanu just said is right. He recognizes it. Kenners, thank you for the 10th month. This is, in fact, the conversation. Yeah, this conversation was way before any of the Vinny stuff. But they intentionally showed the Vinny stuff first to make it seem like Vinny opened the door for this, when Vinny didn't even enter the room. Vinny can take zero credit for what happened this week. And I say this as somebody who does think that he is, at this point, the front runner to win the game, potentially. Entirely. Yeah, see, now we're back again, like over 24 hours after that Keanu conversation. And this is about 1 hour after the Vinny conversation. Gary, thank you for the 100 bits. Yeah, the storage room conversation being implied to be like a Jimmy created an alliance thing is also wild. It's part of the fabrication of the house guests. Hold on, I've got to... make a little tweet here. The edit is making Mickey's decision to put up Jimmy a little clearer because they're lying. Because the edit is making stuff up. All right, we'll go final DR. Mickey, Morgan, Kelly, Keanu, Riley, Rachel, Jimmy, Vince, other. Who's on the podcast tonight? Not me. Finally getting a Wednesday off. Honestly, thank God. To have to be the one to explain this episode. Listen, if you want me to talk about it, you're all right here. That's what you're here for. You're getting the live raw reaction. Do I listen when I don't host? Not usually, no. It's work. I feel like... Oh, hold on, we're back. Yeah, it would feel like hanging out at work when I'm not working. Exactly. Sometimes I do, though. Sometimes I do when I hang out. They're rushing. No, this isn't fake rushing. They were literally waking up and they got called for the ceremony. Ice, thank you for the 69th. What I will say is their preoccupation with getting ready for the ceremony where they are going to screw him over is so telling for where they are at a human level with him. Sorry, I have to look my best as I betray you on television. The fact that I'm even giving you this much time, you should be grateful for. Kind of looks great, yeah. Don't love the shorts that much, actually. He looks great from the top up. The shorts do not work for me with this outfit. that was so funny. They cut back. That's Keanu is literally me on a podcast right now. Nice shirt. Bottom doesn't matter. Nobody sees it. Mickey, what are you doing? Jimmy. You're the next to be booted. Okay, that was the episode. The thing about that episode was that it was not only inaccurate, it was intentionally deceptive in many ways. For no particular reason, I would say as well. But I mean, between the Riley stuff what might have been the Keanu stuff, and then the strategic stuff. It truly felt like just total deception. Like genuinely, I think it's important to try to contextualize this. This is pretty rare, in my opinion, for Big Brother. The Riley stuff, unfortunately, not rare. The Vince did this narrative where they intentionally inserted a Vince conversation prior to the Keanu conversation that happened a day before to imply that Vince did this to get Jimmy up. Is just completely fabricated from whole cloth. There is zero truth to it whatsoever. There's not even an inkling of truth to it, which is very rare for Big Brother US in terms of strategically editing things. Normally they take a kernel of truth and they exaggerate it, or they take part of what happened and only focus on that and ignore other parts. This was just completely made up. And this is the kind of stuff that Big Brother Canada used to do a lot, where they would credit players for things that they had nothing to do with. And the idea that like, oh, well, they needed to like, you know, they only have a certain amount of time, like it was a confusing thing. That's never been an issue for them before. That doesn't incentivize you to create a false narrative. Creating a false narrative requires more work than portraying the true narrative. So yeah, this is the thing. Why did it show Mickey saying in the DR Keanu was confirming what they had already heard from Vince? Just to be clear, without even needing to answer the bulk of that question, the conversation that they were trying to imply that Mickey was referring to with Vince happened more than 24 hours after she had that conversation with Keanu, where it was implied that he was confirming something that she heard from Vince, apparently in the future, right? Like, that's how deceptive the editing can be. It can be very convincing if you didn't know. In terms of explaining it, there's a bunch of explanations, right? One is that she may have not been referring to that at all in the diary room. They may have asked her to say that in the diary room. They may have also asked Vince to say that he caught on to what was happening rather than he was told. But more than that, when she says that Keanu was confirming things that she already thought, it's because Keanu wasn't introducing new information to her. She was feeding Keanu things. Mickey and Morgan had been trying to get Keanu to target Jimmy ever since his HOH reign, and they kept failing. He didn't believe them. It was very obvious. Everyone knew he was coming after Morgan and Mickey. And his whole thing about Rachel and Jimmy are in the middle, and I've secretly made a deal with Jimmy. Everyone knew about it. They were trying to dissuade him of that notion for a while, and it wasn't until this conversation that they seemed to succeed. Because yes, 2 is more than 1, and so Jimmy should have told him to come after Jimmy instead of them. All right, so check out the podcast. I believe Bowie Jane will be joining. Rob. Update tomorrow. Check out the Patreon. I'm gonna post the Genius episode 6 on there. I had a lot of thoughts about that one. And also, I'm gonna turn on the annual subscription for people that would prefer that. Carmi, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. In addition to that, on the Patreon, I will be doing those kinds of edits. So watching the episode with it up, with the ability to pause and analyze. When Australian Survivor starts, which is in just over a week, I think. Those will also be on the Patreon. So check that stuff out. Of course, check the book out if you haven't already. Pretty cool seeing people receive theirs. Getting lots of posts. I'm, hoping people are enjoying it. Step count only about 4,500. Started pretty late. I'm at a pretty chill pace. All right. Thanks again. I will see all of you next time.